Welcome back to the ASUS ROG DreamLeague live here from the DreamHack Monterrey studios. We just witnessed the first game of OG versus Ninjas in Pajamas, and dare I say that Ninjas in Pajamas was one of the teams that came closest to beating OG in the games we've had with them here this week.
Yeah.
Agree?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, so what went wrong? Because they were so close and they constantly pressured. It was fights all over. Obviously, the start didn't really help because that one went to OG.
For me, the late game fights didn't really go their way. There was some really nice plays from OG, like stopping Sven getting the stun. Like their whole combination relied on Sven locking them down with the stun. And there was like 3 fights, I think, where it didn't really go like that. And they kind of relied on that very heavily. And Viper, for me,
I have to agree with you there, Shane. Like, they had to put down this wombo combo kind of thing with the vacuum into Sven stun and then the AA follow-up to be able to win the fights. And they messed it up like every time. And it was partly due to the no-tail Brewmaster like intercepting the Sven and keeping him out of the fight before they could even like start. So,
was there a hero that could have changed the outcome, you think, Lumi?
We were saying Puck would have been excellent.
Yeah.
instead of the Viper, yeah.
Yeah, obviously the strength of the Viper was, like, the level 1 fight for that Viper was amazing. I think if you didn't have a Viper and instead you had a Puck, they might have lost that river fight more than they have. Of course, Viper, once he got into the lane, he was zoning the hell out of the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah.
And of course, all the charges to the mid lane was more successful with the Viper as well.
Yeah, I think
so it's hard to like kind of talk bad about the Viper, but the most important stages of the game was the Puck in the mid game. Like, the game was determined whether you hit the wombo combo or you don't hit the wombo combo. And when you don't hit the wombo combo,
they struggled.
They struggled.
the Viper does nothing for the wombo combo, basically. So, like, even the Puck in the first river fight could have done a lot, I think, with the orb.
Yeah, okay.
Instead
if
of
you
the
hit
poison
a
attack.
couple people.
Because Viper without levels is kind of like...
He was slowing people.
yeah, I guess, but it's not. It's like an Orb of Venom kind of.
The other thing is the timing that NiP chose to take the fight. I feel like this is where the team really struggles. For example, there was... I think this is one of the clips I chose, but there was a time in the game where both teams smoked 5v5 and they danced around the Roshan pit.
That was awesome, actually, to watch.
Yeah. The problem is NiP initiated that smoke when their Sven didn't have a BKB. I feel like when your Sven doesn't have BKB, you're just the food for the Brewmaster. You're spinning in the air for 6 seconds, and then when you land, you take 2 more seconds of stun, and then you're spinning again. So it's not a good time. I like to see NiP like understand that like we need BKB on Sven before we could take any fights.
Yeah, you can see him just having drunken haze on him. He was trying to hit people, and he was like miss, and he was carried around. Yeah, it was
and that Roshan, of course, allowed for them afterwards to take 4 towers, even if they didn't want to fight. Ninja Pajamas didn't want to fight, but they still lost 4 towers, which is a lot of extra map control. But that Roshan fight, or rather the dance that happened before the Roshan fight, was very interesting to watch. Hopefully we have indeed a clip of that with the Luminous analysis.
Okay, so I got 2 clips chosen here, and it really shows you the difference of initiation. When NiP gets the jump, they actually have a very strong fight. When they don't get the jump, then they're really relying on the wombo combo. So the first clip, it's a fight around the mid lane, and Spirit Breaker just charges in. So this is right after Brewmaster ultimate has been used, and Brewmaster decides to come back, and NiP is like, okay, you don't have split, let's go. So in this situation, you can see that OG is really overstaying the welcome. Even though the weave defensively hit everybody, the Spirit Breaker comes in from the side, and this is the fight where they won, and this is where the wombo combo hits. Well, not even, right? But the Ice Blast hit
3 people
on 3 people.
Yeah.
And that's already enough. And to me, this is where actually OG makes a fairly big mistake. Their team communication, like some people wanted to go back in. Moon goes back in, and then the Big Daddy is like, okay, since Moon's in, I'm also going to go in. I felt like they could really cut their losses. So they traded 1 for 1 here. And on the back line, the Dazzle has been like being chased by the Sven for a long time. I felt like OG could have just all kind of ran away and maybe lost 1 or 2. But instead they lost all 3. So that was the strength of the Spirit Breaker to me. He played extremely well throughout the game. Like, the lane charges was great. And the fight initiation, even though Spirit Breaker is not exactly the best initiator, it got the job done there.
Yeah, especially when their lineup doesn't really have any stuns except for Slider. You know, it's really easy to kind of...
Dude, we saw the early game. Like, he was just charging everywhere.
Yeah, he was like, okay.
Like, no punishment whatsoever.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, pressure kept on the entire time as well, which I think was the key for them doing fairly decent. I hope we're going to see that the next game as well. We should be having our second clip, and I believe It is ready.
Let's go.
Kind of
Let's
ready.
go.
Oh, I saw people standing on a cliff. That's all that I need to see. With like lightning hands at some point. It was really cool to see that different envision because you just still saw the
the chilling touch.
animated chilling touch in the smoke. I think now we're ready to go into the
Okay.
second clip.
All right, so this fight, I just want you guys to just watch Sven, right? Like he's just not having a good time.
Because when I watched this inside, I didn't actually see what happened to Sven. Alright, so he's kind of at the back.
Everybody wraps around to Roche.
Okay, he goes into the rush pit. Where's no? Wait, what?
So Brew gets a split off. Like even though the Ice Blast and
Sven's in
the
the air.
vacuum combo hit,
How didn't he? Why didn't he blink? He had. No, nothing attacked him, right?
You mean Sven?
Yes.
He must have been cancelled by something.
Decay.
or maybe
Something.
Tombstone, I'm not sure. But like Sven was in the middle of everybody, and normally that's a good time, but
But
he's
I,
just like,
I think this fight was all about position.
Look at him trying to hit him. He can't. He can't.
Yeah.
Such a sad Sven, man.
yeah. Yeah,
That's why Brew is really good because of haze most of the time. You
Even
think
the
about
clap.
you think about the ulti, but haze is actually
Mhm.
insanely good.
The
It,
clap
it didn't
as
help
well
that when the fight started, they were on the low ground and they got spotted by a ward placed by Fly,
Yeah.
and then they got
the
two
other
rank
one
rushed.
just timed out as well.
Yeah.
So what do they do differently this game? I mean, obviously they started out right. They have the right idea in terms of dealing with OG. What are we going to see them do differently? And we can also already see part of the answer because the draft's on the way. But what do you think?
Honestly, the thing I want for Ninja's Pajamas, I want to pick Jonas Safan a more aggressive hero. Like a Clockwork or even an Axe. We know OG favored their Dazzle.
Mm-hmm.
So having an Axe early game just to like bump up the aggression for them, I think could be definitely a way forward.
Yeah.
Dire team pick.
I think no Viper is the way to go.
Okay.
Unless they want to do like a Drow kind of strat where they can pressure with the Drow aura.
Okay, this is something that OG was planning. They already banned out the CK.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they were planning on taking a tiny for themselves in the first two, and Doom as well, because somehow that made it through, and Ninjas in Pajamas
Okay.
seem to be okay with letting that through.
Interesting.
But they now only have a IO, and he looks very squishy against both the Doom and the Tiny. As Tiny is one of the heroes that can actually kill IO real fast.
You just get the blink dagger.
But he
and
needs
go for it.
levels first.
He does.
This is
That's very
their
good, yeah.
OG's Alchemist draft as well. Do you remember they did this quite a few times actually? They pick up the Tiny without the IO, and then they give No Tail their Alchemist mid, and it just like he just hands out the Aghanims. But the
I can answer everybody.
So is this where you ban the Alchemist here?
Remaining.
I would almost say yes. Then it's definitely scary, but it's also a hero that I don't know. How are you gonna do in your lanes if you pick an Alchemist
okay,
right now?
if you want to give them the Alchemist, he needs a space to farm. Like these two heroes alone are very very farm intensive heroes. So you could just be extremely aggressive with Jonas's hero. Like maybe the Clockwork, you know, use the Rocket Flare to scout out the camps, that kind of stuff. Then the Doom is gonna just have a field day.
So
Beastmaster
far
is pretty good as well.
Yeah, just keep the vision up.
Or Brood so far.
I actually think, despite me saying I don't like the hero earlier, I think this is a great LC game. You run LC Wisp on the off lane.
Yeah, that's
You,
extremely.
you know
powerful.
you're either up against a Doom or Tiny. You're gonna just run over that
Don't you
lane.
think Bristle is better than?
I think
Or Axe even?
when somebody gets doomed, you give them the press the attack. You could even tether the Wisp and press the attack the
10
Wisp and just give them a whole
seconds
bunch of heal.
Why do you think Bristle is better? Just because
Bristle Wisp is insane, man.
Just 'cause
And
even
they
the pressure
both
they
are
put on the
low
lanes.
armor
Yeah,
from the start.
okay.
So like, either of those two heroes are
Reserve
gonna
time.
be really weak against
So
Bristle.
you're thinking like amp up the physical damage?
Yeah.
Smart ban on the
Dire
Lich.
team
There's no Dazzle, there's no Lich. I think Bristle could work very well.
NiP does like their bristles, right?
Yeah.
They do.
Jonas Bristle with the Wisp.
Yeah.
Easy game.
10
Limp played it
seconds
yesterday actually
remaining.
for them.
If you know that you're going up against a Doom as well as a Tiny, do you
5
feel like you should
seconds
be applying
remaining.
as much pressure as they did in the previous game in the early stages? Or will they
Reserve
try to
time.
draw out the game longer?
Radiant
What do you
team
think?
pick.
I think you could, because it's kind of greedy right now with the Doom Tiny,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. And they have 3 melee strength heroes.
This is the X game. Come on, baby.
Is this where you say
It's
Timbersaw?
Timbersaw, yeah.
Timbersaw
But
once more.
he doesn't like the Doom that much.
Okay.
Dire
But it's
team
still good. Like, you can't Doom everyone. That's the plan. You need Timber, Bristle, and something else.
You were talking about aggression, Shiva, and Queen of Pain definitely gives it to Ninjas in Pajamas.
Yeah.
Like, one of Limp's more comfortable heroes. And we've seen Limp and S4 play it in kind of a similar-ish way. You know, the second you get level 6, just rotate around, put pressures on the lanes.
But they're
Which
also
in this case
tanky.
also would allow maybe Io and Bane to take over mid lane and get the
10
level 6, which is really
seconds
important for them.
That's true. And they still have the option to... I know Ira likes his Queen of Pain
5
as well. They can
seconds
put it in the safe lane and combo up another hero with Io.
They
I-
could go Huskar,
Or Necrolite.
Reserve
Huskar, okay,
time.
yeah.
maybe.
Why do you think Huskar is a good pick here?
Because of Wisp, mainly.
Against Tiny?
Winter Wyvern.
Oh.
I mean, there's a lot of right click too. They hit pretty hard.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know if it's the best one.
I'm not sure whether I like the Queen of Pain pick actually, because these heroes are very beefy. So
Yeah, that's what I said.
They're
as
also
well.
melee though. So the dagger does quite a lot of work.
well, you don't
But
pick
you're
one
gonna-
for the
you're
dagger.
gonna-
No, but
You're gonna
it's-
throw
it
out
is
your
a-
burst, and then they
Yeah.
sustain with
Yeah,
Wind
yeah.
Wyvern and Undying, kind of.
I also think that Slardar
10
would.
seconds
Oh, never mind. It's taken out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, Slardar would be good against these HP heavy.
5
And
no
Bristleback
armor
is not that good anymore.
with
because
the
they have
Wyvern.
Winter Wyvern.
Wyvern.
Oh, well,
They
They pick
decided to do it
it.
they
anyway.
pick it anyways.
Dire team ban.
Can they make it work?
I mean, Wyvern
sure.
is also a very low armor hero, so
Yep.
even though like you could protect your allies with Cold Embrace, the quills still stack up.
Yep.
Exactly,
So after they
yeah.
come out, they boom.
Yeah, it's true. Very true.
And
Lily.
you got some extra
10
nuke damage with the
seconds
Queen of Pain there
remaining.
as well, if someone is stuck in a cold embrace.
The Winter Wyvern's also very
5
good at
seconds remaining.
locking down the Queen of Pain though. You know, you can use your ultimate from Frog.
Mm-hmm.
The
Reserve
So far, in
time.
regards to lockdown, that is something that Ninjas in Pajamas is lacking.
yeah, very well. The Bane does quite a lot of work, but you're.
But it's only the Bane.
It's only Bane, yeah.
So if you have a Tiny, he jumps in on the Bane, Avalanche toss, Bane dies.
NiP could
Well.
go for a Brood or Timber even. Just
Still?
go ham, man.
Well, yesterday you said that Era doesn't like to play Bristleback, right? So
Yeah.
most
He
likely
could
it's
play
gonna
the
be-
Queen of Pain.
Yeah, I
Lim
think so.
plays the Timber.
Okay,
Jonas plays the Bristle.
I like that. I'm sold.
Depends on what OG pick though. NiP has the last pick. So
Some extra
yeah.
power for them.
Depends on what OG you go for.
So we mentioned the Alchemist a little bit earlier.
Mhm.
Is it still looking good here?
The only one you really worry about is Bristleback. Having high amount, like the physical damage, is an issue for Alchemist.
Mm-hmm.
And Queen of Pain's a very good laner, of course.
And if you go for Alch, you have 4 melee strength heroes
Yeah, you do.
against Timber.
Yes, potential
Timber
to-
hype, boys.
It's actually very exciting to
10
see.
seconds
What about
remaining.
a Meepo?
For,
Is this a Meepo draft?
for OG or
For OG, yeah.
Radiant team ban.
I mean, it's a decent Meepo game.
It's very, very good against the Queen of Pain.
Bristle kinda looks like he goes one and hits it like 3 times and it's dead.
You can kite it though. But
Yeah, you can kite it, but if you can lock it down.
I think they need a tempo controlling hero, like
Yeah.
someone to actually take the initiative in the early game.
On OG side?
Yeah.
Like Beastmaster would have been,
Beastmaster's a yeah.
but
I
he
mean,
just got banned out.
yeah.
So
What
Ninjas
they-
in Pajamas is on the same line.
What they kind of lean
Puck
back
is
on
kinda
is the Brewmaster a lot.
A lot of control.
Would Brewmaster be too greedy again here, or?
I
Then
mean, it
again-
offered so much control in the previous game.
Yeah.
I almost would say,
It
like,
did.
can you go wrong with it?
Timber.
10 seconds.
Seriously,
remaining.
I mean,
if
even
you go
Timber,
Brew.
you just Cyclone Helm him there for 6
Yeah.
seconds. That's not
Uh,
bad.
5
Timber,
seconds
Bristleback,
remaining.
these are not BKB heroes. I mean, you
Mm.
can get BKB on them, but they're not. happy
Reserve
buying it.
I'm not
time.
saying it's super bad, but
5
it's kind of bad.
seconds
I think
remaining.
Puck is the way to go if you want. Tempo controller.
Okay.
Racer.
Radiant
So
team
Bristleback
pick.
runs at us. Okay,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
We'll take your damage.
That's a good point.
They still kind of need an initiator from Ninjas in Pajamas, so
Lesh,
The Shrek.
he comes back. We saw him yesterday, actually. Didn't do bad when the Rise played him.
yeah, it's very good against a Winter Wyvern. Someone gets Cold Embrace, you can stun, do a lot of
They
magical
have
damage.
sleep into stun as well.
Yeah,
What's the thing to look out for
Hanskin,
this game?
Bristle.
support
I think we're
Bristleback.
gonna swap a bit.
Maybe
What's the thing to look out for this game?
we'll watch Limp on his Queen of Pain and
Watch
see
Limp on his Queen of Pain.
see if you can up the tempo in the game and bring the aggression to OG.
Okay, well, you heard the man. It is time for game 2 of Ninjas
Oh,
in
they
Pajamas
swapped the heroes,
versus OG with OD Pixel and Draskell.